To the Champions League we go now with the third round of qualifying first legs just around the corner, with some clubs already eliminated, some big clubs creeping through to the next round of games, but who of course will make it to the illustrious league phase. We're going to get into that and much more next. That's right, folks, back once again with another video. Today we take a look at the Champions League qualifiers. It is the third round of qualifiers, first legs, and we'll get to it in a second. If you know where you've been, smash your subscribe, your one-stop shop for Champions League, Batman Rovers, whoa, football, we're all here under one Ruski. That's right, Rangers, they squeaked through to the next round of qualifiers. But some clubs have taken a tumble, some surprises. What am I talking about? Well, I'll tell you in just one second. Big shout out to the members and the patrons, you know who you are. But anyway, we're going to jump in the deep end and have a look at what we're talking about. We're talking about this, guys. It is Champions League time. And of course, we're going to recap the results from the last round of games. And these are those. Bloody hell, I'm running out. It keeps gobbling me up, the bloody screen. I'm going to shrink myself down to about here. How about that? Oh, guys, before you know it, before you bloody know it, it's going to be like this. I'm here. But, you know, I'm running out of room. But, hey, there we go. I'm not that fat, but hey, we're working on it. So these are the games that were last round, of course. My predictions are going to be in the white, as you can see them. And, of course, the real scoreline is going to be in the black, as you see it. And, of course, the aggregate scorelines are in the red. So let's run through them. Kick it all off with Kairat. They are, of course, picking up a 3-0 win on the night. Of course, they go through. Red Star Belgrade also go through against Lincoln Red Imps. That was kind of an easy one, really. 5-1. Real scoreline with the 4-0 win, 6-1 on aggregate. They go through. Meanwhile, Fenerbahçe, also big 4-3 scoreline for them. I went with a 3-1 win for Fenerbahçe. Got that one close to the mark as well. Noah will have to settle for the Europa League. Meanwhile, Malmo, 2-0 winners on the night up against RFS. That was my prediction. It was a 1-0 scoreline, but of course enough for them to go through. Dynamo Kiev pick up a 3-0 win on the night. I went with a 4-0 win myself. 6-0 win. They go through. Meanwhile, we've got what we got here. Paphos with the 1-0 win over Maccabi Tel Aviv. I went the other way. Tel Aviv take a tumble. Paphos go through. Meanwhile, Drita Giljan losing to Copenhagen. I got that one close to the mark. I went with a 2-1 win for Copenhagen. It was just a 1-0 win. But 3-0, they go through. Servette, they're out. 3-1 loss. Big comeback there for Viktoria. Plzeň, 3-2 for them. Meanwhile, Slovan Bucharest, they are out as well. Massive former winners. They lost 2-1 on the night, 3-1 on aggregate. They take a tumble. Shrinsky Mostar and Slovan Bratislava did duke it out to a draw. 2-2 it was. I went with the 1-1 scoreline. But of course, it was not enough for Shrinsky Mostar to turn that game around. Meanwhile, Bratislava did lose against Lech Poznań. Just the 1-0 win. I went with a 3-1 win. But of course, that game was over in the first leg. Meanwhile, Ludogorets Razgrad, they took care of business against HNK Rijeka. 3-1 on the night. I went with a 2-0 win. And of course, the Razgrad go through. And then finally, Rangers did draw with Panathinaikos 1-1. Got that one spot on the nose. 3-1 win. Rangers are through to set up these games. That's right. We've got 10 games coming at you this coming match day. Hopefully I've got all of them because I did miss a couple last time, but hopefully we have all of them ready to rock and roll. Again, let me know if I've missed any, but of course it'll be too late if we do. So let's get into it and have a look at the games. Kicking it all off with a trip to Sweden, actually a Scandinavian affair. We've got Malmo taking on Copenhagen at the Ilda Arena. Malmo managed by Henrik Rydström. They won 6 on the bloody bounce. But they're taking on Copenhagen, managed by Jakob Nyström, who've also won 6 on the bounce. Goodness gracious me, this game is a banger, of course, to kick us all off with. They've actually played 5 times in 2005, 4 of those competitively. I'm going to say competitively, that's rude, that's down to interpretation, that one. But the last time they played at Malmo, it was in the Europa League Group B phase way back in October 2019. It was a 1-1 scoreline on that match. Malmo on the back of a win over RFS to keep themselves in this competition. They'll be taking on Copenhagen this coming weekend as well. I think I might have missed their game in the Swedish top flight. Meanwhile, Copenhagen on the back of that 2-0 win over Frederica. In fact, that was in the Danish top flight. That was, of course, fresh on the back of that win over Drita. So a couple of games in quick fire there for Copenhagen, but Malmo are next. The bookies have this going in favour quite tightly for Copenhagen on the road here. I don't know about that. I cannot decide between these two sides. And again, I'm going to go for the repeat of that scoreline back in 2019. Going to go with the 1-1 scoreline, which means this game is evenly poised going into the second leg. Meanwhile, we go Dynamo Kiev, monster club here, up against Paphos, coming at you over the Ariana Lublin. Dynamo Kiev coming at you under the stewardship of Alexander Shakovsky on the back of back-to-back wins. Up against Paphos, managed by the Spaniard, Juan Carlos Cosedo. They're unbeaten the last 5. But they never played each other, these two clubs, coming into this. Dynamo Kiev on the back of a 3-0 win over Spartans. Of course, back-to-back clean sheets for them. Of course, the domestic top flight does kick off this weekend. They're taking on Ravane. I'm sure they're expected to win that game. Meanwhile, Paphos on the back of that 1-0 win over Maccabi Tel Aviv to keep them in this competition. Their top flight doesn't get going until the middle of the month. So all focus is on this game. We have odds on this one. Odds go in favour overwhelmingly so for Dynamo Kiev. And I ain't stupid, guys. I'm going to back them as well. 3-1 win for Dynamo Kiev. Odds this one. Let's get on forward then, shall we? KF Shkëndija up against Qarabağ. Another tricky one to call this one. Coming out to the Toze Prosakinski National Arena. Chedovo managed by Genton Berkini on the back of 3 successive wins. They're unbeaten in the last 5 matches. Up against Qarabağ managed by Gubanov, with the coolest name in town. Just 1 defeat in the last 4 for them. These two clubs yet to take it on each other, but coming into this, Shkëndija Totowa taking out former Champions League winner Steaua Bucharest, 3-1 on aggregate. Their domestic top flight doesn't get going for another week, so all preparations are on this game. As for Qarabağ, they took care of business against Shelbourne, back-to-back clean sheets for them. And again, fully focused on this game, where the bookies have Qarabağ as favourites. I don't know, have I gone that way? I've gone with a 2-0 win for Shkëndija in the opening leg here, which of course is an interesting take. You know, bookies think that will be an upset. And if you would put a quid on that one, you might come out looking, the drinks might be on you. Meanwhile, Rangers taking on Viktoria Plzeň, coming at you at Ibrox. It's coming at you this coming, what do we look at, 5th of August. Rangers managed by Russell Martin, unbeaten the last 6. However, drawn 4 of the last 5. They get the domestic top flight get going this weekend against Motherwell. Of course, we do have Scottish predictions back on the channel. They're on the short form variety. Make sure you check that out. Week in, week out predictions. Taking on Viktoria Plzeň, managed by Masurinov Kubacic. They're coming into this on the back of a win over Servette. 2-legged affair. They lost the first leg in Plzeň. They picked up the win in Switzerland to see them going through. Rangers are expected to beat Motherwell. And of course, we don't have any odds on this one, which is a bit of a surprise. But I'm going to back Russell Martin's boys at Ibrox. 3-1 win. They need a good win because I think Viktoria Plzeň will have something to say in that second leg when they bring it back to their own turf. A week after. Meanwhile, let's kick it on forward. Do we have odds? No, we don't have the odds. Kairat taking on Slovan Bratislava. Now, this match takes place on the 6th of August. Coming at you over the Central Stadium. Kairat, managed by the Russian Rafael Uzvatantin. Just 1 defeat in the last 6 for them. Coming into Slovan Bratislava under the guruship of Vladimir Weiss. Just 1, what we're looking at, a couple of defeats in the last 6. Just 1 win, though, in the last 5. As a unsure Slovan Bratislava take on this Kairat side, who are on the back of a 3-0 win over Cups, of course. A 6-1 aggregate scoreline to keep themselves in this. When I say 6-1, I was lying. As a 5. What are we looking at? Ooh, no, tell a lie. They just squeaked through against Cups on aggregate. They're taking on Uratatu this weekend in their domestic top flight. Meanwhile, Slovan Bratislava will get their season back on as well. Match number 2, taking on Plzeň. The odds for this one go in favour of Kairat. It's a tough one to call. I'm going the opposite, though. I'm going 2-1 win. Surprise, surprise. Another upset in my eyes. Let's kick it on forward, though, to RB Salzburg, a club that was busy in the Club World Cup, taking on Club Brugge out of Belgium. Goodness gracious me. Salzburg coming in at you, managed by Thomas Lech, the German, just 1 defeat in the last 5. Up against Club Brugge, managed by Nicky Hayden. Hayden just 1 defeat in the last 6 as well. It's at the Red Bull Arena on the 6th of August. Twice they played in 2019, 1 win apiece. The last time they played in Austria, it was a 4-0 win for Salzburg back in February 2019. That was in the round of 32 Europa League knockout stages. Meanwhile, Salzburg on the back of a, what we're looking at here, a comfortable win over Brann to see them through. They did take on a Wunderbar Ditich in the Austrian Cup this past weekend. They're taking on Ried in the Austrian League, which again, we have predictions on the channel in the short form variety. So keep up to date with the Austrian Bundesliga right here. Subscribe, boys and girls. Meanwhile, speaking of Club Brugge, they're taking on Mechelen. They just took on Mechelen. They did lose to Mechelen. Now they're fully focused for Salzburg. Again, Juniper League action on the channel in the short form variety. We have a load of leagues here this season, so this is the place to bloody be. So subscribe. The bookies odds for this one, though, tight, airtight, going in favour of Cluj. The bookies for me, though, got to back Salzburg. They ain't no slouches, guys. Let's get on to the next one. Ludogorets Razgrad. They're taking on Ferencvárosi, of course, Razgrad coming out to Bulgaria, managed by Rui Mota, unbeaten the last 6 up against Fenerbahçe, managed by Robbie Keane. They're unbeaten the last 6. They look good right now to Fenerbahçe. They played 6 times since 2019, 1 win for Ludogorets, Razgrad, 4 wins Fenerbahçe. There's been 1 draw. This is at the Humfamana Arena. Last time they played competitively at this very venue, it was a 1-1 draw back in December 2019. Razgrad on the back of that 3-1 win over Rijeka, comfortably through. On this one, they also beat Vrataša in the domestic top flight. They're taking on Ludogorets this weekend in their top flight. Ferencvárosi taking on Qarabağ in their top division. I'm sure they're expected to win that game. The bookies for this one, very difficult. They're going in favour of Ludogorets Razgrad in that first leg. I've gone with a draw here because that Fenerbahçe side, there's something about them right now, and I do think they could cause some problems. At least get to those knockout stages, or the not knockout stages, but of course the playoffs. Let's get into the next one. We have Lech Poznań coming at you against Red Star Belgrade. This one, spice on extra levels, coming at you at the Stadium Plzeň. Lech Poznań managed by Niels Fredriksson. 3 wins on the spin for them. Up against Red Star Belgrade, managed by Vladan Miligovic. That's right, 92% form for them, but they've never played each other according to my data. Poznań on the back of that 1-0 win over Brugge, of course, comfortably through, 8-1 on aggregate. Meanwhile, Red Star Belgrade, they're also comfortably through, took care of business against the Lincoln Red Imps, 6-1 on aggregate, also picking up a 7-1 win over OFK Belgrade in the Serbian top flight this past weekend. But they're going to be taking on, I think they might even be in action as we speak. But Poznań taking on Gumnek and Zambradze. They're expected to win that game. But the bookies can't decide between these two sides. I don't think I can decide either. No, I've gone with Lech Poznań with a bit of an upset 2-1 win. It's tight though. We're talking wafer thin margins here, as Poznań will have the upper hand in the first leg. But it's game only half time, so a lot still left of the tank. Let's go to France, the south of France, as Nice, very nice, take on Benfica. That's right, the Allianz Arena. Nice managed by Frank Hassi. On the back, I just wonder what we're looking at here. 1-1 lost 1, drew 1 over the last 3 up against Benfica, managed by Bruno Lager, of course. They played each other twice in 2013. Both of those games were friendlies, so they don't really count. Coming into this, Nice on the back of a 2-0 loss to St. Pauli. Their domestic top flight doesn't get going until the middle of August, but they're taking on Benfica this coming match day. Benfica's domestic top flight doesn't get going until, I think, next week over in Portugal. And again, both the French and the Portuguese leagues are covered on the channel. They're going to be in short form variety, so make sure you check those badges out. As for the bookies odds for this one, another tight one to call here. Benfica have the edge according to the bookies odds. I'm going with a 2-0 win for Nice, which is very nice for the French team, but again, only halfway there, and we'll see who comes through in the second leg when we come back around. And then finally, we have Feyenoord against Fenerbahçe coming out to the Stadion Feyenoord. That's right, of course, managed by Robin van Persie. Of course, winless in the last 4 matches, just 1 win in the last 6 up against Fenerbahçe, managed by the Guru, that is Jose Mourinho. Now, they played 3 times in 2016, 2 wins for the Turkish outfit, no wins for the Dutch. There has been 1 draw. That 1 draw was a friendly back in July 2018. The last time they played in the Dutchlands competitively was a 1-0 win for Fenerbahçe back in December 2016. The Dutchies on the back of a 2-0 loss to Liefering. It was a friendly. Meanwhile, moving forward, of course, no action for them, of course, until this game. There might be a friendly knocking about, but that's pretty much it. As for Fenerbahçe, also nothing to get too worried about. A lot of pre-season games still to be played. But fully focused on this one, but the bookies have Feyenoord in the upper hand here. They're in the driving seat. Again, up against Mourinho's boys, of course, who know what they're doing. We're going to go with a 2-2 draw on the night to, of course, make us have an absolute cracking second legs when we go to Turkey to see who goes through and see who goes home. That is it, guys. That's all I've got. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below, what you think will happen this time around in the Champions League. Of course, qualifiers, first legs. Until then, I'll see you soon when we return a winner.